Hi students, let's start our science class. By the way, welcome to class 7. Last year we had started our science class with chapter Food, where does it come from? This year you will learn about a further more advanced topic, that's chapter 1, Nutrition in Plants. First of all, I will read each paragraph and will give an explanation of it. So listen carefully. Shall we begin the class? Okay. In class 6, you learned that food is essential for all living organisms. You also learned that carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals are components of food. These components of food are necessary for our body and are called nutrients. So students, last year we have learned food is essential for living organisms and about components of food. So, what are components of food? Yes, the components of food are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. These components are essential and are called nutrients. So mark this point. It's an answer for the question, what are nutrients? And the answer is, mark it down. The answer is carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals are components of food. These components of food are necessary for our body and are called nutrients. Okay. All living organisms require food. Plants can make their food themselves, but animals including humans cannot. They get it from plants or animals that eat plants. Thus humans and animals are directly or indirectly dependent on plants. So we know that all organisms require food, isn't it? Plants can make their food themselves, whereas animals can't. So what about humans? Even we humans can't make our own food. We have to get it from plants or animals. So humans and animals directly or indirectly are dependent on plants. So moving on to our first topic, mode of nutrition in plants. Plants are the only organisms that can prepare food for themselves by using water, carbon dioxide and minerals. The raw materials are present in their surroundings. So as we have discussed earlier, plants are the only organisms that can prepare food by themselves from the raw materials that is present in their surroundings. What are these raw materials? They are water, carbon dioxide and minerals. The nutrients enable living organisms to build their bodies, to grow, to repair damaged parts of their bodies and provide the energy to carry out life processes. Nutrition is the mode of taking food by an organism and its utilization by the body. The mode of nutrition in which organisms make food themselves from simple substances is called autotrophic. Therefore, plants are called autotrophs. Animals and most other organisms take in ready-made food prepared by the plants. They are called heterotrophs. Actually, this paragraph is very important. So many questions can be asked from it. First question is, why nutrients are essential for living organisms? Got it? Okay, I will repeat once again. Why nutrients are essential for living organisms? The answer is the first sentence of the para. So mark it down. Got it? Okay, I will read the sentence again. The nutrients enable living organisms to build their bodies, to grow, to repair damaged parts of their bodies and provide the energy to carry out life processes. This is the answer for the question, why nutrients are essential for living organisms. So, these nutrients are very essential, isn't it? Nutrients enable living organisms to build their body, to grow, to repair the damaged parts and they also provide energy to carry out the life processes, isn't it? So coming to next question, what do you mean by nutrition? Okay, I will repeat it. What do you mean by nutrition? And the answer is, mark down this sentence. Nutrition is the mode of taking food by an organism and its utilization by the body. So what is nutrition? Yes, it's the mode of taking food and its utilization by the body. Okay, the next question is, what are different modes of nutrition? Got it? What are different modes of nutrition? Okay, the answer is there are two modes of nutrition. They are autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Okay, and they can also ask another question, what are autotrophs or what are heterotrophs? Like that, separate questions can also be asked. Okay. So coming to mode of nutrition, there are two modes of nutrition, autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. The organisms that make food by themselves are called autotrophs, for example, plants. And the organisms that take ready-made food prepared by plants are called heterotrophs, for example, animals. And the word autotrophs, we can split it into two. Auto means self and trophos means nourishment. Same here, heteros means other and trophos means nourishment. So when a question like this, define the mode of nutrition or explain the different types of mode of nutrition, then we have to write this completely. Okay, autotrophic, heterotrophic, and you have to define these two words also. On the other hand, they may also ask define autotrophic nutrition or define heterotrophic nutrition. So in that case, you only explain each one. Okay. Now we may ask where the food factories of plants are located, whether food is made in all parts of a plant or only in certain parts. How do plants obtain the raw materials from the surroundings? How do they transport them to the food factories of the plant? I know, like these questions, several questions will also arise in your mind also, isn't it? So all these questions answers are given in the next topic. So let's move on to our next topic, that is photosynthesis, food making process in plants. Leaves are the food factories of plants. The synthesis of food in plants occurs in leaves. Therefore, all the raw materials must reach there. Water and minerals present in soil are absorbed by the roots and transported to the leaves. Carbon dioxide from air is taken in through the tiny pores present on the surface of the leaves. These pores are surrounded by guard cells. Such pores are called stomata. So the food factory of plants are leaves. Thus the food is synthesized here. Thus the raw materials like water, mineral, nutrients and carbon dioxide should reach the leaf. Here the water and minerals are present in soil. Thus they are absorbed through roots and get transported to the leaves. Whereas the carbon dioxide is taken through the tiny pores present on the surface of the leaves. These pores are called stomata and are surrounded by guard cells. So what is stomata is one important question, okay? Stomata, these are the pores, tiny pores present on the surface of the leaves. Okay. So this is a stomata, this is the stomatal opening, and these two are the guard cells. Okay. So just remember how these raw materials will enter leaves, okay, through roots and through stomata. Just remember that point. And also about food factory of plants. The food factory of plant is leaf, isn't it? Similarly, as I have told earlier, one important question is there. What do you mean by stomata? Okay, what is the definition for stomata? There are tiny pores present on the surface of the leaves. These pores are surrounded by guard cells. Such pores are called stomata. And if possible, you can draw that picture also, which I have drawn. Okay. Water and minerals are transported to the leaves by the vessels which run like pipes throughout the root, the stem, the branches and the leaves. They form a continuous path or passage for the nutrients to reach the leaf. You will learn about transport of materials in plants in chapter 11. So we have learned that the water and minerals are absorbed from soil through root and it will reach leaf, isn't it? Water and minerals are transported to leaves by vessels which passes from root through stem, branches and even to leaves. Okay, this is a continuous pathway. Cells. You have seen that buildings are made of bricks. Similarly, the bodies of living organisms are made of tiny units called cells. Cells can be seen only under the microscope. Some organisms are made of only one cell. The cell is enclosed by a thin outer boundary called the cell membrane. Most cells have a distinct centrally located spherical structure called the nucleus. The nucleus is surrounded by a jelly-like substance called cytoplasm. So, have you heard of this word cells? Yes. Have you seen a building? It's made of bricks, isn't it? Similarly, our living organism's body is also made up of tiny units called cells. The body of all living organisms are made of these tiny units. These cells are not visible with our naked eyes. It is visible under a microscope. Okay. So let's discuss about cell. Some organisms are made of only one cell. For example, amoeba. Okay. Now let's discuss about the parts of cell. Okay. So the cell which is enclosed by a thin outer boundary is called a cell membrane. This is the thin outer boundary. See, this is the thin outer boundary and this is known as cell membrane. And most of the cells have a distinct centrally located spherical structure called a nucleus. This is the nucleus. A distinct centrally located spherical structure. This is known as nucleus. And this nucleus is surrounded by a jelly-like substance. See, this is the jelly-like substance which surrounds the nucleus and it's known as cytoplasm. So these are the parts of cell. So a question can be asked from this portion. What do you mean by cell or define cell? So the answer is the body of all living organisms are made of tiny units called cells. Similarly, they can also ask define the structure of cell. Along with this question, we can draw this picture. As I have shown you, you can draw that picture and explain the three different parts of the cell. That is nucleus, cytoplasm and cell membrane. So the structure can be well explained by us. Isn't it? Yes. I hope you all have understood today's portion. If you have any doubts, you can comment me in the comment box. Okay, so the remaining portion of the chapter can be discussed in the next video. Okay, see you later.